Gaming with Murel. This week we're doing Neo Scavenger by Blue Bottle Games. It was recently greenlighted on Steam, currently available for $9.99. This is a early access game, and you can feel it in some bits. The story's not quite complete, but it is getting better, and it is pretty fun. It has retro-style graphics, point-and-click. Overall, worth the money. So we are going to start a new game here, take you through character creation. And with this, you can actually only have one game at a time, so be careful not to start a new game if you're enjoying yourself. If you do, just close it without saving. It won't overwrite automatically. So here we are looking at the skills we can choose from. This is quite interesting because your slots here correspond with the red, and the more of these you choose, the more blue you can choose, each one having benefits that'll help you survive in the post-apocalyptic supernatural world. Normally I like to start with strong, trapping, and you do have to be very careful. You can't really click around too much. A lot of these are very sensitive. So we go trapping, botany here. This one's really important. It's kind of hard to find food out in the post-apocalyptic wastelands, and botany will help you tell the difference between food you can eat and food that'll kill you. Big warning with the inedible foods, you don't always notice you're poisoned right away. Now, some people will argue insomnia is not a great trait to choose from down there, but in my experience, it's the least damaging one you can pick. The other ones make it quite difficult. Now, there are some other things here. As you can see, I chose melee. A lot of melee weapons available. You can choose ranged. Strong's pretty self-explanatory. Trapping helps you trap and prepare animals. This one, I swear by. You really need to start with this. You kind of have a boss fight right out of the gate, and this one helps. And we'll go with, let's see, what's a fun one? We'll go with athletic. And we confirm. So in the start of the game here, you wake up in a cryo-sleep chamber. And, let's see. So we hear a scream from down the hall. And let's see what's going on. So we have to choose our options over here for the encounter. And let's go with strong, melee, throw athletic in there, because it's going to be a fight. If you don't have strong or melee, you really should run from this, I'm told. I've never done it that way before. I like to fight. So, drop into a defensive stance as it bursts in the room. We are fighting a Dogman here. Out in the real world, they will mess you up. However, this one here, as long as you have one of the traits we picked there, you're good. Now, to see what was on the ground there, I kind of clicked past it. Apologize. We'll go back and check that out again. It shows what's on the ground. The neat thing with this is you can rotate things to make them stack better in backpacks. As you can see, you start without anything, hands empty, except this bronze talisman. Whatever you do, don't get rid of that. Ever. Keep it forever. So this is the Dogman corpse. Any enemy you kill will leave a corpse like that. And because we have trapping and some glass shards here, there's some stuff we can do for that. So as you can see here, there was a button right here. That's what I clicked to take us to that screen. So we decide to take that awesome footage. Again, something I always like to do. It helps you out later in a couple different instances, but we'll go out and explore the world. And take a quick look around. You've been asleep for a really long time. And the whole point of this game is you're kind of trying to figure out your story. So as we can see here, this is what most of the game you see will look like. You click, turn-based, a lot of hints on the wiki, help you out a lot at this stage, but what we're going to do is we're going to go into the crafting screen, which is X, hotkey X. So we have all of the available things, these are called hexes here, on this hex that we can use, including our skills. So we're going to take the Dogman corpse, as well as our trapping skill, and this is what really helps us with trapping. Whoops. So, using trapping in this glass shard as a knife, we're going to skin and butcher this Dogman for a couple of reasons. Big one here is, though, this fur coat. It is really valuable there. You see 225 on the left under all those bars. We start off with 0 money. However, we can make some more later, but we'll explore that later on. So first thing we're going to do, we went back to the open close item screen, which is hotkey Q, and we're going to put on this dog fur coat. That'll keep our temperature here from going too low so we can spend more time in the outside. And because we don't have a bag, I'm just going to take the security footage, put that in my hand. If we had a backpack or a plastic bag, we could take some of this. It doesn't last a while. You really have to cook or cure it. And that's another benefit of having trapping, is you can cure the meat. But as in real life, it will eventually deteriorate, and if you eat it, you'll get sick. So, we're just going to explore around here. The maps are randomly generated every time, so everyone is different. A couple things we're going to point out here quickly. These red feet are your tracks, and everything that moves between hexes will leave a track, including NPCs. Good way to kind of keep track of what's going on. Track down other people, animals, enemies. You can kind of use those to your advantage. You can also hide them using the hide tracks button. That's good if you're trying to get away from something. I don't use it probably as much as I should, but luck of the Irish, let's see how it goes. Right before I showed you the hide tracks button, I hit this one, end turn. When your hex borders turn orange and you have no buttons, it means that you're out of turns. It is turn-based, as I've mentioned a couple times. So once we hit end turn, reloads your turns, we're going to head over here to this abandoned building. The little magnifying glass right above my cursor there shows me that there's something new there since last I explored it. Oh, no sign of activity, so we'll check that out. But the magnifying glass is important because it'll tell you if you can scavenge in that hex, and that's where you're going to find supplies. Early on in the game, it's really important to find clothes, bags, anything we can carry with us. So, as we approach the town, there's no sign of activity. Vehicles are overturned, blackened with fire. The world has drastically changed. Oh, and there's some monsters. See, we don't have to fight those, just kind of a environment thing. Let's decide to look around and scavenge. So as we can see, the blue scavenge button here, we go in here. It'll take you to a screen, tells you a bit about what's going on. Down here you can select which you want to scavenge. Sometimes there will be multiple buildings or hills, or you can just leave without doing anything. Once you've chosen, you go over to confirm, and it gives you this other screen. It'll tell you a bit more about the building you've chosen. The bars here, obviously, green is best, yellow medium, red not so good. In here, we can choose skills if we had something like a crowbar or something. We can choose that as well to boost our loot, but as you can see here, dropped our sneak, so if there's anybody around us, they're going to be able to hear us. And we can see, go back to that open close item screens, and we start with a vehicle, a plastic shed, a sled, I should say. What this will do is we can haul stuff in it, obviously. So we chuck some of this stuff in here, useful for our travels. Blinkies, that's some packaged food, some crackers, an empty can. If you hold your mouse over any bottles, cans, anything that can hold something, it'll show you a similar screen here. This is our sled's inventory. This is just stuff on the ground. I don't really see anything else worth picking up, so we'll leave it at that. But we have our nice little orange sled. So we're going to close this screen again, and it'll take us back to the You Found Something screen, and we'll just confirm or hit space to close that, and go back to the main menu. So we're going to end our turn, nothing else we can do. And next day, oh! And while we were ending our turn, we were attacked by a stranger. A fight screen here, again, turn-based. It's a little hard to get into, a lot of different options here. What we're going to do is we only have 6 spaces between us, so I'm just going to advance. That'll move us 1 space closer to the target. There's another one, it's charge. It'll move you 2 to 3, but it makes you vulnerable. And we're already pulling our sled awkwardly and can't run. So we move towards him, and he there is charging towards us, but he is vulnerable. Oh, and it looks like we tripped. Go us. So he's vulnerable again. So these are our 2 attacks, or we can choose to parry. Parry will put them back invulnerable. Dodge will put a little bit more space between us. Melee surge, use it sparingly. Chance to stun, chance to hit 1 to 3 times. However, you do give up your next turn, where melee you can use it every turn, and he's running away from us. That's a little surprising, so let's advance after him. Oh, and he's running, so let's give chase. Why not? So, let's see. So you can ditch your vehicle. Anything that can be easily dropped will. Advantage of doing that is that it takes away a lot of the options, like charge isn't available, we can't run away. You know, we're awkwardly pulling it. So if you do drop it, it'll open up the ones that are locked because we're pulling it. But you can always go back. They're not permanently lost. As long as you go back to the hex, you can scavenge them again. But we're just going to advance again. Oh, and this guy has a gun. What we're going to do here is create an obstacle. And this is one that's available only because I have the athletic skill, I believe it is. And we have a chance to hurt him, seriously injure him, delay him. It's a pretty versatile one, pretty reliable as well for the most part. So we're going to topple that on him, and as you can see, he's bleeding. Blue Frog needs a moment to recover, stunned, upper leg was scratched. Not the end of the world, but he is vulnerable, and let's see, he's desperately retreating, but he has a revolver. So we do have to be careful. 1 lucky shot, and that is the end of this Let's Play. So we're going to advance again. And we're now 1 away. Let's do a melee surge. Let's mess his day up. Oh, look at that. So he's threatening us. You can use this. If you have a weapon, you're scary enough, it may scare away your enemy. Not useful for a lot of them, but some of them will run away if you use it. And as you can see here, we hit him with our fists. He's coughing up blood. That's terminal. He's going to die from that. It's just a matter of time. So what we'll do here is we'll just keep pecking away at him. Just use a melee attack. Severe pain. He's vulnerable. Let's try and tackle him. Keep him from running away. Oh, and we missed. So as you can see here, we have to get up again. And that takes a turn. Still in severe pain, coughing up blood. Let's advance again. And we'll melee attack. Vulnerable. You really want, if you're going to be using melee surge, melee attack, anything, it's better if they're vulnerable, which you can do with using lure, tackling them if they charge. And a good one is parry. He's been running away from us for the most part, but we'll parry. Oh, and he's vulnerable again, but this is because he's running, not because he attacked. So we'll create another obstacle. Oh, and he's been knocked over, bleeding again. Oh, this guy will not go down, but I want his gun, so he's going to die whether he wants to or not. Cool thing about this game, too, is you can still threaten your target if you don't have any bullets in your gun. You just essentially wave it around, and there's a chance it'll scare them away. You can tell them you want them to surrender. If they do surrender, they leave all of their things, and you can scavenge them. He just died, but because we are out of turns, we can't scavenge this hex yet. So we'll just end our turn before looting the body. Oh. And I may have misspoke. I'm not seeing Scavenge there at all, so he may have got it. No, he's dead. That is odd. I've never seen that happen before. I am going to lay that up to a bug, because it says down here he's dead. If I'm wrong, correct me down in the comments. We'll explore that. So over here, we're going to scavenge again in a stretch of forest. As you can see here, it's giving us more options. We can use our botany skills. And let's see. So, we found quite a few useful things here. Some red edible berries, blue edible berries. You have to be careful because edible and poison look the same. You really have to read the description. If you don't have botany, you won't be able to tell right off the bat. And the last thing you really want is to be chased by a dogman while you have diarrhea. So, we're going to go through. We found some water. We have a can. So let's try and fill that with some water. Nope, not going to work. The water's too big. It's 6 squares. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold down the 2 button. That's the hotkey for consume. And we're just going to have a drink and eat a couple berries. And move on. We've only had a couple turns. It's daytime right now, so we haven't really been out particularly long, so we'll just keep scavenging. Make our way up to this little area. Looks like there's some crumbled buildings. And as some of you guys may have noticed, so as you go through the world, you will eventually come across different encounters, and that will be more or less different story points. And this one here is briefly audible. We're hearing the sound of gas engines. And what we're going to do is we'll follow that. We'll make that our quest for the day, our next couple days. We're going to go see if we can find that, see what's making the sound. So we'll carry on in part 2, and we'll pick this up in the next episode. Thanks for watching. See you later.